The 2024 Saudi Cup is a spectacular event attracting the best older horses in the world. It's run at 1 1/8 miles on the dirt in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The purse is the world's richest at $20 million. It takes place on Saturday, February 24th, listed at 12 noon. Please check your television and web networks for the actual times to watch live streaming. Currently, Sportsmax TV, FanDuel TV, and TVG are promoting their broadcasts. A full listing of the contestants should be available on race day via the Horse Racing Nation website and others. This video concentrates on specifically the favorite horse, White Abarrio, whose story is extraordinary. He was purchased as a yearling for $7,000, resold to a trainer for $40,000, sold again after only his first race to a larger consortium, and altered his ownership at least 5 times. To date, he has amassed over $5 million or close to $5 million in purses, including winning the $6 million Breeders' Cup Classic. And he's currently being trained by an individual who acquired the conditioning of White Abarrio after having been out of racing for 10 years. Shares of his breeding have been purchased by Prince Faisal of Saudi Arabia. White Abarrio will go against several currently dangerous United States rivals in Bob Baffert's National Treasure, Todd Fincher's Senior Buscador, Dallas Stewart's Hoist the Gold, Brad Cox's Saudi Crown, plus talented international rivals Lemon Pop, Derma Sotogaki, Ushba, Tesoro, and others. As always, a horse race is an unpredictable sporting event, and anything can happen once the starting gate opens. Please enjoy this personal documentary centered around the favored White Abarrio's connections. Thank you. We're here with the current owner of White Abarrio, this horse that was purchased actually from Carlos Perez. Only had one race with Carlos, and Mark was watching, and he said, "Oh my God, this horse has such potential." I'm here at Gulfstream Park with trainer Carlos Perez. He's a very good trainer here at South Florida, and one of his supposed claims to fame is having been the first guy to spot the eyes of White Abarrio, made the purchase and ended up flipping that sale. But Carlos, what did you see in that horse at the time that you first spotted him, and what made you think that there was some great potential in him?
So to be honest, we buy horses here, my partner, Antonio. We buy horses on a budget. So we saw the horse, the breeze, we liked the way he moved. I know he didn't look perfect. He backs up a little bit. We check on the horse. The horse looked really, really correct. Well balanced, nice size. And I mean, we fell in love with the horse. We initially got like a 30 grand top, and we ended up spending 40, which was more than what we spent. Still, I mean, the horse it is now, 40 is nothing. So we trained it. The horse was doing really good. First time out, he won like a freak. We got a lot of costs just by the horse. We ended up doing the negotiation with the C2 Racing. They're really nice people. We got they let us keep a share on it, and I mean we are just enjoying the ride, the same as they do. We work for a horse, and the horse got my father's last name, and I mean I'm really happy with it.
Tell me about what potential you saw this horse and why.
Well, we saw a lot of things. You know, he ran in September of his 2-year-old year here at Gulfstream, which we're at now. Going out of a 6.5 furlong race out of 1 hole. The horse broke slow, down on the inside, and made a little steady move going into the quarter pole. Split 3 horses at the quarter pole, which normally a September of your 2-year-old year with a first-time starter, you're not going to see that sort of thing. Got through there like he was a seasoned racehorse, and when he got to the 8th hole, he really leveled off nice, opened up 6, 7, 8 links on him like it was nothing, and galloped out huge. And, you know, we did some other due diligence, which we do on the pedigree, the looks of the horse, conformation, buyer speed figures, Ragusan numbers, all that lined up. And we got our vet, Dr. Jonathan Allen, over, and we did a pre-purchase exam. And the horse was very sound. Everything checked out perfect. So we pulled the trigger on that within about 48 hours. And that's when we went over and picked him up and transferred him over to the first trainer we used, which was Safa Joseph.
You know, you ran into some complications in Kentucky with Safi Joseph, and you were kind of forced into a unique position to find a new trainer for the horse. The horse wasn't disqualified, but you had to move forward, and you ended up with Rick Dutrow, who was on a comeback to training, which is amazing. Well, it seems like the perfect fit. How did you conceive of that, and how did it come together?
Well, I've known Rick a long time. I mean, you know, when he was training, a really good friend of mine was Paul Poffin. We put some partnerships together with Paul, and, you know, he won the Kentucky Derby with Big Brown, obviously. And so I spent a lot of time in Rick's barn, kind of knew, you know, what kind of horses he likes to work with. And, you know, that's one of the things about this business, knowing the strengths and weaknesses of trainers, horses, jockeys, etc. Not that Rick has any weak points, but, you know, you want to try to maximize what you're doing. But, and the timing was right too, like you said, coming off of his layoff. And we wanted somebody that was really going to be hands-on, focus, and, you know, that he could communicate every day about the horse and map out a game plan with him. So
Now, it seems like you've made a mutual decision to bypass the Pegasus this year and just to concentrate on the horse being as fresh as possible for the Saudi Cup. Is that a fair analysis or assessment?
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of two things that happened, really. Actually, three. One, you know, the Saudi Cup's a $20 million race. It's 1 1/8 miles. It's one turn, which we think is going to be his absolute best distance. The other thing is the spacing of the race. You know, we would have loved to run the horse in the Pegasus, but unfortunately, the Pegasus is just too tight a window. You've only got 30 days between the Pegasus and the Saudi Cup, and then you got to worry about flying them over there on 24-hour flight. The recovery period of that window is just too short, in our opinion. You know, if they moved this Pegasus up 3 weeks, it'd be perfect spacing between the Breeders' Cup to the Pegasus and the Pegasus Saudi Cup. So I'm hoping they'll do that in the near future. But, you know, right now we really had no other option but to go into the Saudi Cup fresh, to give the horse his best chance to run his biggest race.
Well, we're all going to be watching and rooting for White Abarrio in the Saudi Cup. Turning the page here a little bit, we're now at Gulfstream awaiting the Pegasus. Are there any horses that you particularly like or stand out, or are there any stories within there that you know, the average viewer would be interested in knowing about?
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of speed in there. You've got National Treasure going, and then Dallas Stewart's horse coming off the Cigar Mile with Johnny on the horse. So I think there's going to possibly be a lot of speed in there.
We are here with Gustavo Delgado Jr., who sort of picked Mage and helped train with his father, helped train and won the Kentucky Derby. Amazing story, amazing production. And we want to congratulate you first for having done such a super job in 2023. You had one of the horses of the year.
Thank you. It was a team effort. Everybody had to do their own thing.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that, because the generations in this business of families staying together and doing this, there's many that do, and there's some that last and some that don't. But now the big story, we're in Florida and preparing for the Pegasus Stakes. Do you see any horses in there that stand out to you, and why?
I like National Treasure because that's a horse who beat us at the Preakness. And if he ends up winning it, we're going to make better. We're going to look better after that.
We're here with Jim Barnes, who trained National Treasure. Amazing job. And
Assistant trainer, Bob Baffert.
assistant trainer, but you travel with that horse and most of it. You're part of the family.
Absolutely, and you know, I give all the credit to Bob. He had the horse ready. You know, it's tough, these races. You really have to plan ahead and figure out their work schedule. And you know, we stepped up, worked him from the gate. You know, really had this horse ready for this race today.
Question: is there any race in the future now, or is this?
Oh, you know, that's up to Bob and the connections.
So
yeah,
no
we're just going to go
decisions.
home and enjoy it right now,
Right.
and then get back to work on Monday, Tuesday, and figure out from there where we're going.
Well, you've had a wonderful weekend. We wish you the best.
Well, thank you very much.
I'm here with super trainer Dave Duggan at Belmont Park. Dave, what's your opinion of the recent development with White Abarrio and the new trainer Dick Dutro doing superiorly and setting up for potential in the Saudi Cup?
Well, it was obviously a perfect storm of events that happened with a negative for Safi Joseph obviously turned into a major positive for Rick Dutrow. Obviously, The horse was going on a maturity level. He was starting to get a little bit better. Obviously, Rick has kind of jumped on that sort of wave and has moved him forward. Do I believe he can win the Saudi race? No doubt. He's done a fantastic job with the horse, and I think he's only onwards and upwards in good hands.
We're here at beautiful Belmont Park with super trainer Rick Dutrow off a high, just having won with White Abarrio, the Breeders' Cup Classic. I'll ask you the same question everyone asks you. How's it feel?
Felt unbelievable. It really did. I mean, it was overwhelming. I know we've done it before, but to do that again with the white horse at Santa Anita, it was just overwhelming, man. Hope we get to do that again.
Well, we do too, and I hope we get to talk to you about it. But I was watching on TV. I would have loved to have been in California, but you were so filled with emotion. Knowing you're not shy to speak, and you were at a loss for words.
Yeah, he does that to me. I just get so excited when I am around him. He brings out the best in me, that's for sure, man. I love being around him. He gives you energy. I don't know how to explain it. He's just a special horse to us.
Well, he's always been a special horse, and you were very gracious in giving credit to the previous trainer, Safi Joseph, for bringing him to that next level. And you also gave credit to just the universe. You said this horse matured as a 4-year-old, and that's made a big difference with him. And then you gave credit to a veterinarian who I know very well, Jonathan Allen, who pre-purchased. Plus, you also gave credit to Ian McKinley for helping with the glue-on shoes. And you seem to find those little things that make a big difference.
Well, like I say to everyone, it's not a big deal. What we do is we get up in the morning and we go out and we try to help the horses as much as we possibly can. That's what we do. So when you see something that might work, you bring a better person in to look at it, to see if it will work, and you just kind of follow their lead once you're onto something. So, it was just kind of simple enough stuff. We were alerted that he's got feet issues, and when we got underneath of him to look at his feet, he had feet issues, and Ian straightened that all out. All he did was glue him on, and it worked, and the horse is a much happier horse, and we're just so excited about his next race, and the one after that, and so on. It was just... We're on cloud 9, man. I mean, we know we got a good one, and he might be the best one out there. Who knows? He certainly beat everyone so far, so we are excited as we can be.
He's probably the survivor of the senior or elder horses at this particular point. Everyone else has been sort of retired off stage for the breeding shed, so now you're sitting on probably the best older horse in the country.
I am overwhelmed. Tell you the truth, I just don't know that this stuff is really going on, but as I'm going along, I'm realizing that it is.
We all know that you've, like everyone in this business, it's a tough business, and you've had some bump in the roads like all of us have in life, and it's got to be almost like a Forrest Gump moment for you, where you got sidetracked and now you're back in the big stage all over again, and probably the last thing you expected to be in this position so quickly.
That's for sure. I mean, but the horses will do it to you. That's why I am so much attracted to horses and race horses and the race game, because overnight you can go from on top of the world to not even being in the game, and you can go from not even being in the game to top of the world, like overnight, because of horses.
Well, the one thing that came out, I have to give you credit, the one thing came out in all the interviews I've seen is that you really care for the horses. So you're not just one of these hold card trainers and all you want to do is win a race and that's it. But your passion for the horses and your love for them does come out.
Well, that's probably why we are getting good horses, because, God can feel us. He knows that we're doing the right thing around the horses. And we know that we're trying to do the right thing around the horses. I always want somebody in there that's going to try, as opposed to somebody that thinks they know. We don't know, man. We just try to do it. Even this morning, there's a little thing that comes up and I says, well, we just have to try. So that's what we do.
I had a unique pleasure at one of the awards dinners once talking to the late, great Bobby Frankel. And I said, "What made you such a great trainer?" And he turned to me, "I learned from all my mistakes."
Yeah, yep. That's for sure. I mean, I was around Bobby in his barn. He was around me in my barn. And to be around a horse guy like that, man, you just want to be around them and just listen to what they say. Just watch what they do. Just things like that. You know, you don't want to sit there and ask a bunch of questions, but you want to know, and you want to know what they know, and you want to learn how they know it. And it's just really good stuff being around a guy like that, man. Really good stuff.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that even along your career path, you had many mentors, and it goes back to your dad. It's a family tradition, and it's very interesting. He ended up in Jimmy Jerkins' former barn, where he's on a little bit of a hiatus himself, and before that was Alan Jerkins, who I know both very well and interviewed both of them here. So now there's sort of a mystique being in the same barn where all these great people have lived.
Yes, yep. I keep in contact with Jimmy while he's over there. I've been to Saudi a couple times. I really like it over there. But yeah, I talked to Jimmy. I even have a horse in this barn that Jimmy had trained. And I go over that with him. And, you know, he watches him run. And, you know, the Dutros and the Jerkinses have gone very good together since I can remember. And we have kept it that way. You know, it's just good stuff.
Because you're truly horsemen. And it's hard in this field to find people that are left that are truly horsemen.
Well, I mean, I like being in that category. Thank you for saying that. I always wanted to be a better known horseman than a better known trainer. I always wanted that. So I still fighting to get it.
You'll get there. You're already, the door's open. I'm only repeating what some other people did, some great interviews with you, and you said I'd love to be in a position like a Pletcher or a Cox where I've got a full barn of all these superstar horses. It's interesting because one of the horses that you remember, I, as a kid, had the unique privilege to work on before I became a veterinarian, but that's Secretariat. And Lucien Lauren didn't have a huge barn. He just had quality horses in the barn, and that's probably about the point where you're at right now.
Well, I got a couple quality horses, that's for sure. And you know, I was there the day Secretariat won the Preakness, and I went with my mom to the farm to where the farm manager gave us part of his tail, and my mom still has it in a frame, and that's so special to us. I mean, that's Secretariat, man. And that's probably my favorite all-time horse, who I thought was the best horse of all time, but. You know, we have a connection there, you know, and Dad trained a horse for Lucien Lauren during that time. See, my dad got along with plenty of other good horsemen.
Well, you're connected to the older generation era where there was a tremendous respect amongst horsemen that really cared for the horses and did the right thing. So, moving on a little bit, the big talk, according to you and according to Mark Cornett, who was an owner and sort of found White Abarrio, is the next race you'd like to be in is in Saudi Cup.
Yes.
And I guess that's probably the biggest race that you could ever be in your lifetime as far as this era. So are you going to do anything in between then, or are you just going to worry about the Saudi Cup?
I'm going to go get fitted for one of those sheets that they wear over there. That's the only thing I'm going to do in the meantime. Our horse is doing fabulous. We love what's happening with him. He got to bide his time, and that's what he's doing. And he just makes one move from California to Saudi, and we are just every day now we are just getting more excited about it. It's just a thrilling thing. And I've been to Saudi a couple times with a couple strong people, and I don't even know how excited I'm getting to go there again. But I know it's building up, and we're like this is like a calm before a storm, because we're all just waiting. Just, you know, every day he gets back at his stall, man, that's a great day. You know, on to the next day. You know, we can't wait, and it's thrilling to go there with this horse. I can't believe that this is happening.
Well, it's happened, Dick. Now, you know, in your heart of hearts, before that big Breeders' Cup Classic, when you're speaking to yourself, did you say, I got this race won as long as everything goes my way? Or did you say, I'm in a tough race with some really good horses. We're going to be competitive. We'll be in the top 3 or 4.
To myself, we were only worried about the break. If he broke with the field, we felt it was his race. We didn't see anything in there that we thought remotely could run with our horse. So that's all we were worried about, is him breaking clean. Irad and him know what to do. Those two get along great, and both of them, when they're out on the track, they got a killer instinct. They want to get this job done. Nothing else matters to them two. So I love that about them, man.
Well, the right team, the right combination, like you mentioned, your favorite horse, my favorite horse of all time, Secretariat. Now, White Abarrio could be the new favorite horse, depending upon how much more is left for him to do. But right now, Secretariat is the standard by which we all judge great racehorses. And everyone I've ever interviewed has told me the same thing. Even jockeys that competed against him, or trainers competed against him. I interviewed the Jerkins family, Stevie, Jimmy, and regardless of even having beat Secretariat, they all said, but I got to tell you, if there's a great racehorse out there to compare them all to, it's Secretariat. So right now, your horse is sitting on close to $5 million in purse money, some of the best races won in the world. I think he's won about 50% of the races he's been in. Now, the Eclipse Awards are coming up, and you're probably in a close heat. I wouldn't say dead heat, but close heat with Cody's Wish. Interesting, because in the Met Mile, you came a third to Cody's Wish, and then you did some changes as far as a trainer would do. And then you turn around and you beat him in the Whitney. So it's almost back and forth. Now, that's an older horse with a very sympathetic story attached to him. Great trainer. So you guys are probably in similar competition. How do you see that going?
Well, it's going to be, our horse showed up his last 2 races on some big, huge races. But Cody's Wish, he did it all year long. He might have won 3 or 4 grade ones. He did win another Breeders' Cup race. He won the Met Mile. I mean, how do you... Look, man, I believe that Cody's Wish is going to get Horse of the Year, and believe me, that is fine with me, because he deserves it. But I believe that our horse is going to give him a run for his money, and I believe that he deserves it. So it's going to be very close, but both of them are well deserved of it, to tell you the truth.
And it's interesting, we mentioned Secretariat only because that was a different era, and we both respect that, but Penny Tweedy literally had to retire Secretariat early because there was no big races left for him to run, and the cost of insurance would be more than what they could win. There wasn't a $20 million Saudi Cup for that.
Yeah.
So she sort of had to do that.
Yeah.
He retired sound. Your horse is sound. Some of the other horses, the older horses, not that they're unsound, but they've got enough little problems and have enough wear and tear that this is the right time for them to go to the breeding shed and do what they got to do next.
Yeah.
So yours is going to be a unique story because Secretariat never got that opportunity to race past, I guess he was 4 when he did his final race, and that was at just the end of his 3-year-old year. So, and Eddie Maple, who I spoke to, said that he was 100% sound at the time after Woodbine, where they finally had to retire him. Mm-hmm. So Saudi's your next stop. I'm not going to ask you what after that because I don't think you could even tell. You just never.
Well,
know.
we're dreaming about the Dubai World Cup after that.
Okay.
We're dreaming about it. It has a lot to do with the Saudi Cup. If he has to get down on his belly and he's getting pressured and he gets beat or he wins in a drive, we might not go to the Dubai World Cup. But if he wins that race like he did the Whitney, we would have to really be thinking about, we're over here, $12 million race. I mean, it's a lot to dream about. It's nothing to think about, to dream about it.
I appreciate, I hope everyone that tunes in and watches appreciates the fact that you're talking like a real true trainer and horseman combined, because the horse is going to tell you where he belongs.
Yes.
The horse is going to tell you, you're not going to look on a chart and say, here's where we're going.
No, right. We've been spacing him with time, and he is thriving at it. So next race is Saudi. We're all in. He's all in. So let's go get that done. And I'll tell the jock. I says, Irad, if there's any way to save an inch, we might be looking at another big race here in 30 days. So if you have a chance to save, let's save. But if not, this is the $20 million race. We were all in here, man. We want to get this job done. It is our number one thing in life. But if you have a chance to save horse, let's save some horse.
And just to clarify, for anyone that doesn't understand the lingo of what you're saying, you know, you're going to push this horse to win that race. But if push comes to shove and it's an easy win, you're not looking to break any world records. You're concerned about
next start.
The next start and keeping him as fit as you can keep him and as sound as you can do.
And we don't want him to get on his belly and all that kind of stuff, man. Listen, when we ran St. Liam in the Woodward, I didn't need the rabbits. But what we wanted more than anything in the world was to him have a nice, easy race before his big race. Same thing's coming up here. This is a freaking huge race, but we want it to be nice and easy on him. So we have a chance to strike again. If he has to get on his belly at Saudi, I'm going to understand. And we're going to be rooting. But then we have to see about what to do next time.
Right. And for anyone that doesn't understand your background that's just tuning in to hear this, I mean, in 2005, you won the Breeders' Cup Classic with St. Liam, and he became Horse of the Year. So you know the game. This isn't your first rodeo.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
4 Breeders' Cup wins, and you've also won the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
So you know the game, and you know the pressure.
We've been around some good horses. That's why we've won those big races. And they're fun to be around. We love it.
So if you couldn't have been a trainer, what do you think you might have been?
Assistant trainer.
It's in your blood.
My dad for a long time. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Right. So the point is you can't think of anything better in the world that you belong doing.
No.
Yeah. You knew it right from the beginning.
I didn't do anything when I was going for 10 years. I didn't have a job. I just went around trying to be around horses.
Right. Well, you know, I have to say that this interview has made me see the charming side of your personality here as far as that you're a consummate horseman and you really have a passion for the horse. It's amazing because a lot of people that only read the press miscalculated your true sentiment within the sport.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but that's true. So we wish you a lot of luck in Saudi. And I must say that I have a particular appeal to Mark and Clint Cornett because I first met White Abarrio in Florida when he was an up-and-coming. He wasn't a superstar yet. And those guys had to make some tough decisions what to do, and also to Safi Joseph as far as what they do when he was put in a terrible spot. I think they've done a super job of managing this horse just to get him to find you. And it's kind of like, I don't want to, the word lost souls is wrong, but it's like you're both trying to prove who you are and what you can offer the world in racing, and you came together at the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
Amazing combination.
Yeah, luck, God.
Yeah, no, I believe that, and I believe somehow Penny Tweedy found Lucian Lauren. It wasn't her first choice.
Yeah.
And I asked Penny once years ago, I told this to Stevie Jerkins, and it brought tears to his eyes. I asked Penny who was the best trainer she's ever known. I thought she was going to say Lucian Lauren. You know who she said?
Who?
Alan Jerkins.
Yeah, well, she's
and yet
probably right.
Yeah, but the combination of her and Lucian and Ron Turcotte was unbeatable.
Yeah, they had Reba Ridge and the next year Secretariat.
Yeah. So she stuck with the winning team because they all gelled at the right time at the right place.
Sweat rubbed those horses.
I know.
And he also had a horse called Spanish Drums.
Spanish Riddle.
Spanish Riddle.
Thank you. I worked on him.
That was a nice horse too.
I worked on him.
He wasn't like the other two, but he was a stake horse. And Eddie Sweat rubbed those 3.
He broke down Spanish Riddle. I was there for the artificial leg went on.
Wow.
Yeah, so no, it's all full circle. The part about Belmont Park that I love and you love too is the history and all the people, and the next generation, newer generation, doesn't understand all the moves that were made along the way to get to this point. You do, especially coming a family. You were born into it. I wasn't. But the history here is amazing. You're a major part of it. And, You're a feel-good story right now, and so is White Abarrio, and so are the Cornets.
Doc, I got to tell you, when I go to Santa Anita, I just wonder. I says, man, who was the person that came up with this idea? It's got to be the most amazing setting in sports. They just got that track there looking straight at the mountains. I mean, who came up with this idea? And they're dead and gone. Their names aren't even, we don't even know who came up with that. But it was a brilliant fucking move, man. That is picturesque out there.
I question sometimes around here why there aren't more recognition to all the superstars. There's been more superstars created on this track at Belmont than any other track in the world. And yet you drive by them. I took a picture 6 months ago in the testing barn, and one of the guards asked me, he said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm taking a picture. You know, they were curious ID. I gave them my ID. And they said, why are you taking a picture of this empty barn? I said, do you know who used to be in this barn? They had no idea it was Secretariat.
Yeah.
And then they didn't even know who Secretariat was.
Yeah.
And that was a guard.
Yeah.
So that's the shame of it, but that's part of the purpose of kind of the interviews I do, because, you know, I have a little bit with Alan Jerkins, and I have with both his sons and other people like that. But, you know, right now we're creating history. And you're a major part of it, and I thank you very much for being generous with your time. We wish you so much luck in Saudi. I mean, this would be a feel-good story. As much as Cody's wishes the feel-good story of 2023, it'd be great to have a 2024 with White Abarrio and Dick, with you being a major part of it, and the Cornets in there too.
Thanks.
So wish you all the luck in the world, and wish you, the horse, and all the connections good health and safe travel, as we say.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I'm here with Irad Ortiz, one of the best riders in the country, and he's supposed to be riding White Abarrio, who passed on the Pegasus to do the Saudi Cup. It's going to be a huge opportunity, a big purse. You're excited about that opportunity?
Yes, I do. The horse look good, looking good after the Breeders' Cup. So it's exciting horse. So let's see. Hopefully he can get there on time and get ready for the race over there. It's another, in the another side of the sea. So hopefully he handled it very well and we go from there.
I had a wonderful interview with Rick Dutrow at Belmont. He said, you're the man for White Abarrio. You just work well with him. You understand the horse. And he's so excited. He said he's been doing this a long time, one of the best horses he's ever had.
I mean, I start working with him since he get there, and we get along good, and it's a nice horse. I love to get on him in the mornings. He's a cool horse, and enjoy the time out there with him, and ended up winning one of the biggest races in the year.
Best of luck to you.
Happy to be on top of it.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Well, you spent your career educating people that you know your horse racing, and you know the pluses, the minuses, and the strengths of trainers and horses and jockeys, etc. So we're following you, hoping you have the best outcome in Saudi, and wishing you the best for the future. And maybe there's some other great picks in the future.
Yeah, we're looking every day, scouting and trying to find the next White Abarrio, that's for sure.
Thanks for the entertainment.
All right, Doc, thanks.